Furious Trump slams FBI over lost lover's text. 2 words send liberals over the edge by Dan Lindsay, Politics US News for MadWorldNews.com. President Donald Trump is furious over the FBI's claim that they lost 5 months of text between lovers Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Trump has 2 words for the FBI, and his remarks are sending liberals over the edge. Last week, the FBI pulled a fast one out of the IRS playbook and told the Department of Justice they had accidentally failed to preserve 5 months of text messages between 2 corrupt FBI agents who were having an affair while serving under Special Counsel Robert Mueller, according to the Daily Caller. In response to the news, President Trump tweeted out the following in one of his biggest stories in a long time. The FBI now says it is missing 5 months' worth of lovers Strzok Page texts, perhaps 50,000, and all in prime time. Wow. The 2 key words in Trump's slam against the FBI are prime time, quote. Trump didn't use those words on accident, just like millions of Americans. The president is suspicious of the time period of the texts that were lost. That 5-month stretch would have contained texts from Strzok that would reveal damaging information on how the deep state conspired against Trump and used a network of people within the FBI and DOJ who considered themselves to be part of an anti-Trump secret society, quote. It isn't a coincidence that the FBI chose to reveal the lost text messages on Friday, January 19, 2018, which is the same day America was focused on the looming government shutdown. The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee was notified of the missing text by the Justice Department via letter which read, "The department wants to bring to your attention that the FBI's technical system for retaining text messages sent and received on FBI mobile devices failed to preserve text messages for Mr. Strzok and Ms. Page." The letter was written by Stephen Boyd, the Assistant Attorney General for Legislative Affairs at the Justice Department, and addressed to Senator Ron Johnson, the chairman of HSGAC. "I cannot wait for Congress to grill FBI Director Christopher Wray, who reportedly threatened to quit his job recently when when the Trump administration pressured him to fire corrupt Assistant FBI Director Andrew McCabe. Wray was supposed to help Trump drain the swamp, not whine like a coward when it came time to roll up his sleeves and rage against the machine. Wray's threat to step down is just an indicator that he is the wrong man for the job and should be replaced with someone who has a spine. Donald Trump isn't just going to let the FBI off the hook after they lost, quote, vital text messages for the period between December 14, 2016 and May 17, 2017. One red flag caused those dates, in fact, is the fact that Robert Mueller's appointment as special counsel just so happened to occur on the 17th of May of 2017. Does anyone else find it rather odd and coincidental that's the same day Strzok's text messages pick back up in the FBI's record? Stephen Boyd told the committee in his letter that the deletion was caused by misconfiguration issues related to rollouts, provisioning, and software updates that conflicted with the FBI's collection capabilities. Boyd continued his explanation, saying the result was that data that should have been automatically collected and retained for long-term storage and retrieval was not collected. Wow, that is a very complicated way to say the FBI is full of a bunch of Trump-hating agents who conspired to conceal their crimes by getting rid of the evidence. America has become a place where the elected government is just a sideshow to the deep state power players. The FBI and DOJ should be investigated by a second special counsel for their conspiracy to undermine Trump and help Hillary Clinton escape justice. Many lawmakers have now called for a special counsel, according to Fox News. Congress is on the verge of releasing a devastating FISA memo that would expose a new level of corruption between the deep state and Democrats. The memo would reportedly show a direct link between criminal activity and several top Obama administration officials who abused their powers to attack President Donald Trump. It's time for Americans to know exactly to what extent our government has been hijacked. You think, and it shouldn't take that long to get that memo out. That's what I say. Get it out and start the arrest, and then we'll talk about the rest later.
So Republicans in Congress are calling for a second special counsel to investigate possible Democratic wrongdoing during the election. Nearly 24 members of the House Judiciary Committee signed a letter to the Justice Department urging it to examine possible collusion between Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration.
You notice the arrogance in that face? You notice like the arrogance, the total arrogance, like I duped yous all. I duped yous all, and yous can't touch me. That's that song. You know that you can't touch me? That's
in the email probe, as well as intelligence unmasking and links between Democrats and foreign actors in Ukraine and Russia. For more on the possibility of a new Clinton investigation and the ongoing Russia probe, we're joined by Fox News anchor and former defense attorney Greg Jarrett. Great to see you, Greg. So this is really interesting. I mean, so a band of Republican congressmen have really gotten together to push this issue of a second special counsel to reopen this investigation.
Yeah, and my question is, what?
Sorry to interrupt, but what popped in my head. In other words, we're playing by the rules, and they're not. You see the difference? They're not playing by the rules, yet we're going according to rules. It's time we start playing dirty and go against the rules. Do you see what I'm saying?
Them so long. I mean, honestly, I've written more than a dozen columns beginning a year ago identifying all of the things that are cited in this 5-page letter signed by 14 congressmen on the House Judiciary Committee.
Will the election explain why you don't think that should have been a distraction?
Well, the election should have underscored the need for a special counsel because Hillary Clinton was the Democratic nominee. And the evidence was laid out against her very nicely by James Comey when he held his infamous news conference a year ago this month, in which he laid out a compelling case for how she violated the Espionage Act. But then at the very end, he completely misinterpreted the law, saying that she didn't intend to violate the law. That's not...
He misinterpreted the law, or he was told, because in the beginning it showed like Comey wasn't going to let her off the hook. But then Loretta Lynch, that's why Comey said Loretta Lynch was very nasty to him. You see? Loretta Lynch was very nasty to him, like, in other words, you better change the wording because you're going down if you don't change the wording, and you get my gist.
Legal standard.
And no Attorney General called Comey out on that.
Yeah, and why? I mean, look, previous Attorney Generals could have done so. Michael McCasey absolutely did so. But you had a Democratic administration with Loretta Lynch in the chair. And interestingly, this committee is now saying, we want you not only to investigate Hillary Clinton for the email case, and the statute of limitation hasn't run, but pay to play, and there's some evidence of that, and we want you to investigate those two people that you see on the screen to the right, Loretta Lynch, for whether or not she unduly influenced the investigation, and James Comey for whether, he was engaged in politics. And both arguably could be potential crimes. What took James Comey so long to reveal the fact that Loretta Lynch asked him to lie about the nature of the investigation? He just revealed it recently in his congressional testimony. Why did he conceal that information? That's one of the reasons why these members of Congress want a new special prosecutor devoted to just that.
And what's also interesting about the need for a second special investigation here is some of your writing. You point out that we should really take a second or a closer look into the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah.
And how she used her office, right, to obviously enrich herself and her husband.
Right. It's a crime to use your public office to confer a benefit to a foreign government in exchange for money. Did she do that? We don't know, but there's...
They don't know yet. You see, these, you know, the thing is exactly what I said. You don't know? The facts are there. What do you mean you don't know? We all know. They don't know? Again, they're playing by the rules, and the Democrats actually are playing without rules. So that's why the arrogance in her face. You see the arrogance.
Evidence that suggests it. Her emails demonstrate that donors gain special access. I'll give you just one example. She helped UBS avoid the IRS, and after that, a tenfold increase from the bank to her foundation, and her husband got paid $1.5 million. Is that pay to play? We need to know. There should be a special counsel.
We need to know. She just stated the facts, right? I say arrest the witch on anything, just anything. There's millions of things you can arrest her for. And her involvement in the disappearance of the accidental suicides also, I mean, really?
We wrap up here, Greg. What's the next step? The request has been put forth, and now what needs to happen?
Well, several things could happen. Congress could act on its own by simply reenacting overnight the Independent Counsel statute, which had expired. It still exists on paper. All you have to do is vote it. Absent that, the Attorney General could appoint a new special counsel, not Robert Mueller, but somebody else, to look into this. So there are a couple of different avenues. Or the Senate Judiciary Committee, which is already examining Loretta Lynch, could expand its probe into Comey himself as well as Hillary Clinton. And the FBI has mountains of evidence in their files over the course of a year's investigation that could be mined.
Interesting. We haven't heard much from Comey recent weeks.
I think he's writing his book. He is, as they say in Washington, cashing in.
All right. Thank
you. See what they said? They need Congress, you see, to sign off because of the statute of limitations on that thing with Hillary Clinton. Why are they delaying it? Then you need the Attorney General instead if Congress doesn't vote on it. But again, do you see where it stems with the Podesta situation that I'm not going into? You get where I'm going with this. That Congress is, they're blackmailing Congress on certain issues. That's why Congress, it's questionable whether they would vote for the special counsel because they got a lot of dirt on them through other things. I mean, it runs real deep, folks. That we don't even understand how deep it runs. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.